Well, now, talking of slobs, as I was, reminds me quite naturally of Rocky. You know, Rocky Balboa, the Italian stallion, the white man's Mike Tyson. Well, he, impersonated as ever by Sylvester Stallone, is about to hit the screen for the 5th time and no doubt the canvas for the umpteenth time. Have you ever noticed that in boxing movies, the guy to bet on is the one who loses the first 11 rounds? Anyway, Rocky V introduces us to a juvenile Italian stallion, Sly's little lad, Sage Stallone. Tom Brooke has been talking to both Sage and his dad.
The new film finds the Italian stallion down but not quite out, back in Philadelphia with his family, living in the neighborhood where Rocky Balboa's adventures first began. Rocky has fallen on hard times. An untrustworthy accountant has left him virtually broke. On top of this, his last fight has caused irreparable damage to his brain. Doctors have warned Rocky that to take to the ring again could cost him his life. Sylvester Stallone says presenting Balboa as less invincible than in the more recent Rocky films adds to his appeal.
When a character is on top, such as he was in 3 and 4, it's very hard to conjure up true grassroots, blue-collar, proletariat emotion. Because you say, hey, it's real tough to feel sorry for a guy with a Ferrari. Sorry, that's life. And we are basically a world of underdogs. So I thought if I could get him back and show that through him symbolically that what seems invincible today can be a pauper, an invalid tomorrow, just like that, and how fortunes turn so quickly, especially in this country lately. I thought this is very apropos to the mood of the country.
I heard that at one point you wanted the Rocky character to die in Rocky V, and you were talked out of it. Is that right?
I had written a death scene. I don't know if that's the way I want to. I want Rocky to end on some sense of optimism, that he doesn't have to die, because he dies almost a spiritual death in this. I mean, he is taken to the lower depths. He's never been this low. And he manages to rise to a certain level, not the great heights at the end, almost to a level of normalcy, and I think that's the message that I want to give out.
Because Rocky is unable to fight, he's taken on the role of training a young up-and-coming boxer called Tommy Gunn. But his protege ultimately turns against him, leaving Rocky devastated. And because he's devoted so much time working with the young boxer, he's also neglected his wife and son. So in Rocky V, Balboa fights to reclaim his family, including his offspring, Rocky Jr., played by Stallone's real-life son.
What are you saying to me? You're like another person.
You're the other person. You said I would be number 1 to you. You said that and you lied. You lied to me and you lied to Mom.
That is very biographical, the relationship in there, because I was gone many years. It's funny how he acts out our relationship on screen, because there are moments when he's not acting. And I know it.
That must have been a little disconcerting for you in a way, wasn't it?
It is, but I was extremely proud that he was able to dig down and show that on film.
Okay, so maybe I'll wise up someday too.
Sage Stallone gives a remarkably convincing performance. Some critics thought he was better than his father. Sage got paternal support both when acting and when fielding questions with reporters.
I think...
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Sage looked like he was having a lot of fun on location, but he does admit to some jitters when the cameras first began to roll.
I was nervous the first time. My father would come up to me and give me a lot of advice, and he'd say, Sage, you're doing good. Why don't you act natural? And I said, okay. And he's like, let it all come from your stomach. And he'd give me acting advice.
In Rocky V, the machismo is toned down, but Balboa still clearly inhabits a man's world. But it's one that appeals to many women, as was evident when Stallone appeared at the Philadelphia Civic Center during filming.
It's every Italian's dream to meet Sylvester Stallone. Are you kidding?
I never professed him to be a sex symbol. I think that the women like Rocky in not the sense that they want to go to bed with him per se, but they just feel a simpatico for him, again, in a maternal fashion.
Rocky V opened here last month, and it just doesn't seem to have the box office punch of the previous films. Perhaps it's because Rocky's go-for-it individualism has lost some of its appeal at a time when the national mood in America is rather gloomy. Anyway, Stallone is now taking a gamble, once again trying to move away from Rocky and Rambo roles. For the first time, he's making a comedy, playing a gangster in a film still in production called Oscar.
It's so enjoyable. It really is wonderful. For the first time, I'm doing something where I say, now finally we're getting something close to my character, my odd perception on life, which is very satirical.
One of Stallone's problems is that his action characters have become indelible trademarks. Audiences find it hard to accept him in other roles. Indeed, many think in real life, Stallone behaves just like Rocky or Rambo.
No, no. He's a normal person. He'll talk normal. He's not, yo. He's kind of, just flat out, deep voice, but not like,
In one way, it's flattering that you have become so at one with anything, at least in a positive nature, like Rocky. But it's also frustrating to realize that it's a character, it's a performance. I don't talk like that, It is something that's done. I mean, they're fun characters. John Rambo is not so much fun because he has some deep psychological problems that you carry home with you at night. But Balboa was great, and I've gone as far as I can with the character and maintaining some level of integrity.
But you think in a way you'll go down in history as Rocky or Rambo?
I think so. I mean, it all depends. If my career goes on the way I would like it to be, they will diminish but never expire. No, far and away. When I do die, it will say Sylvester Stallone went down for the final count.
Thanks very much indeed for the interview. You seem much more intelligent in real life than you do as Rambo or Rocky. That's great.
Thank you.
If old Sly gave acting advice to young Sage, who on earth gave it to Sly in the first place? And come to think of it, it's just as well, isn't it, that Mrs. Stallone didn't have twins. I don't think the world is ready yet for an identical pair of lads called Sage and Onion Stallone. However, Rocky V opens here on January 25th.